understandable. I think to each their own. I understand that you feel that the term is painting over people's anger. Myself, as someone who grew up in communities like this, tagging, staying up like this, with curse words in it, and certain violent language and things like that, I prefer to help restore and revitalize the city back to what it was by putting primer over it so that it makes it easier for them to paint it up. Obviously, the city. What's that?
You have to do it in concert.
This is the community. I didn't put all these people on a plane. This is the community here. And so you might disagree and feel like all of this messaging should be left up. Things like this that are done in anger and done in rage with the curse words and things like that, that doesn't represent the community. So last night, if it represents it, these things are burned down on the inside. The building is burned down. There's sprinklers in here. People have looted and taken all of this stuff out.
I see your point. I would just
and these are members of the community. These are people who came down that feel like they don't want to see it either. So if you have a concern about me coming from out of town and leading people to paint up this message, I grew up in these type of neighborhoods. We hated seeing this stuff on the walls regardless, right? So the last thing I want to do is leave it up here as an eyesore. So me leading a charge for people to come out and clean this up, I mean, if we have a difference of opinion on it, then so be it. But I think there are peaceful and civil ways to protest, but making your own city look like this, as someone who grew up and watched my city look like this, and I hated seeing it as a kid, the last thing I want to do is watch other cities become like that.
CBS, I mean, really, come on.
It's not just CBS, it's the community. It's the community. You can call it what you want, but it's the community. And I think it should be cleaned up, and so do members of the community. And I'm glad at how fast they're able to cover these things up. And if people feel like they want to put it back up, and they can come back out tonight and put it up again, and it'll get painted over again.
Come back and put it up. That's why they're saying to not come out, and because if they see, oh, it's cleaned up, they're going to destroy it again. I'm not saying I know that.
Is this the way you want your city to look for the rest of time?
I'm just saying this is what I was told.
Okay, I understand that, but what is the timeline that you think that this messaging should be? Is that how you want your city to look?
It's not the best.
Come on, it's an eyesore. No one should want their city to look like that. Like, they got to express their anger. They burned it down. Got it. They got to tag everything up. They tagged it up. Okay, you got that anger out. And so people coming back and saying, I want to help revitalize your community and I want to help clean it up, I don't understand why we have a difference of opinion on that.
I'm just questioning, and we can agree to disagree.
You didn't grow up in neighborhoods where this was the norm.
I did not.
Okay, well I did. And we hated seeing it then because a lot of it is gang tagging and some of it is for the protest, some of it is for the rally. But if you look through there, some of these are gang sets that are thrown up there. And it invites other things into the community. I'd rather just see it gone, you know? So if you want to join us, great. If you don't, I understand. I appreciate you expressing your concerns to me. I think they are legitimate, honestly. I have nothing against you whatsoever. I think it's a legitimate concern. But as someone who grew up in South Central Los Angeles, I flew out here from California yesterday, this sort of stuff was in my neighborhoods regularly and I hated seeing it. And even as a boy in middle school, I would sign up for after-school programs to go and clean up gang graffiti off of walls because we didn't want to see it. The moment that we paint over it, they put it right back up and we take it down again. Cities should be beautiful. Cities, that's not representative of the city. And so people saying, well, that's his memorial, so you plan on just leaving this up? Nah. There's other ways to memorialize him. But burning down your own city, that's what I've never understood. If it happened here, why destroy your own community? If they felt like there's certain areas that they wanted to let out their frustration and burn down, I get that. I'm just as angry as the next person. But I don't believe in destroying your own community to express your rage. Then this is an eyesore for everybody that comes through here. I don't believe in that.
I appreciate having a good discussion.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the dialogue is important, and I really appreciate it. If COVID wasn't around, I'd give you a hug to let you know it's all love, right? But thank you for bringing that up. I saw you were kind of agitated about it, and I felt like this conversation is necessary, and even for people that get to hear it. But there is a reason why I feel like this needs to be cleaned. And even if there are specific organizers that told you leave it up, or they're going to put it all up again, probably tomorrow we're going to come clean it up again, because I believe in a beautiful community and not a tagged up community. This looks like, how can we leave this up, right? Yeah.
And it's not mine to make. I was just
Absolutely. No, it's all good.
It's not mine to make.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, and I know there's a lot of people like who want to do something, and I want to help them do something.
Thank you.
You seem to be a central hub, so I'm
To
happy
do
to help you
something.
just to do something.
Thank you. Yes, I'm gonna like. We should do that. We should. So if you have access to people here on the ground that can help get more primer, more rollers, so that we can continue on.
Around.
Exactly, because there's so much graffiti that happened just in the past 3 or 4 days. We'll wait and finish this one, and then we'll head out.
Where's the best place to be of service and not a hindrance?
I think right now we're just going to keep it moving along the wall switches to cover everything. It's really wet.
We're right as soon as we got the plane. Everybody's ready.
All right, thanks.
I was good. Thanks for coming, by the way.
Oh.
I just wanted to say thank you. I saw your post on Facebook. And
Thank you for joining us.
yeah,
I really appreciate it.
yeah. I think I got one morning, so I need to head home and heading out of town.
Yeah.
So, but
Awesome.
thanks. Yeah. stay
Thank
safe.
you for being
Yeah,
out
of
here.
course. Thanks. Here.
Here, let me put it down over here. Thank you.
Our shit is still in
Then we're going there
so
too.
you need to go and give us free stuff.
Okay.
Make it up and show that support.
Then we'll go there
You know
too.
what I'm saying? Because no, don't spend money where when
Yeah.
you're uncomfortable, that means you gotta move.
Agreed.
It's our history in the United States of America,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
That's what we're teaching our kids.
Absolutely.
And so, like when we say, like you said, as a father,
Yeah.
I don't want to teach my kids that this is okay.
No. I said as a father,
I won't
there's some art that
You feel.
creates destruction, incites certain things in their mind. Because part of, like you said, where you teach them about the murders, part of that is the fires and the destruction and the things there. But also teaching them to clean up their community, to revitalize their community. So the message that I teach regularly is we have to build up our own, right? We can't expect anyone
First
to
of
do
all,
it
for
us.
anybody listening, I'm not disputing with his message. I want to make sure
And
that that's
thank you.
known.
No, it's much
I want to make
respect.
sure that that's
It's
known.
much respect.
Oh,
Yes.
we're having a dialogue
Yes.
that y'all listening to.
This is the way it
We're
should
having a
be.
dialogue
Yes.
that y'all
This is the
listening
way
to.
it should be.
I'm
I'm
not
a fellow
disagreeing.
history teacher. I
That's
feel
all.
you.
Absolutely, it's two men having dialogue. I have much respect for you. I don't even know you.
Appreciate
So, but what I'm saying is, sure, our kid, like you said, does art imitate life? Yes, but at the same time, the way that we teach our children and the way that we teach even the general public, right? Some of the grown folks here is to be able to say that we want to rebuild and revitalize our communities. We can't keep asking for change and demanding change and then destroying the very things that we have because an injustice took place.
I don't condone. I see Black Lives Matter, but right next to where I saw Black Lives Matter, I saw fuck this, fuck that, fuck the police, fuck this, we gonna burn this bitch down. Those takes away from what your shirt says. It takes away from the entire meal.
You though.
I
Yeah.
think that, and for me to even speak on anything, he was right. He said I don't know her name, but
Lindsay, yeah.
Lindsay, because she's white, he said you shouldn't have a voice right now, which is not fair, but in a
Correct.
certain way, I feel I shouldn't talk.
It's not true, man. I think you always should be able to have an opinion on these matters, right? Because what are people asking, right? As black people, we're saying, join us, be our allies, be our supporters. So people shouldn't say, be our allies and be our supporters, and then want to quiet you at the same time. So I thought it was very unfair for him to say that she shouldn't have a voice or that she shouldn't speak because she's white. How do you on one side tell her to be an ally and to support the people, right? And then on the other side, when she speaks, say you're not allowed to talk? It doesn't work like that, right? So if we're asking for all people to step in and fight for justice, all people of different backgrounds, different walks of life to come out and help us clean up.
There's a woman holding a baby and sweeping.
Holding a baby and sweeping. It's such a powerful thing. You being out here to clean up. Why'd you even do that? Why do you feel the
Because
need?
we live here and we want a better community, safety, and justice for everybody.
Thank you so much. I really Wow. Thank you. Appreciate it. Powerful. I love seeing that. So we're gonna go grab some more supplies and then head back over here. We'll be out there.
We already were the free hug guy.
Yes. How are you? Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Hey. Awesome. Thank you guys for being out here.
All right, let's go.
Cool. I know some time ago just how different our lives are. Julio came and joined us from Drive Live, and to be able to just see the diversity here of everybody cleaning up, and even the diversity in us, right? A former white supremacist skinhead, right? Like just all the different backgrounds coming together to say, let's clean this up. And it's been interesting how there's been a couple of people that have said, don't clean it up. And I love the guy that just said a little while ago, you guys cleaning this up is a form of community protest. It's a form of organizing, saying, this is what community should look like. People, it's community coming together to clean it up, to say this is not us, this doesn't represent us. And it shouldn't, right? Like if we're pushing for love and we're pushing for change and we're pushing for unity, that's what this looks like to me. This is exactly that. Right? This is
gorgeous.
I love the sight of that.
For
right?
real.
Because that's how we
an
heal.
Action.
Absolutely. That's how we heal. That's how we move forward from these things.
Brought their kids out.
Documentary I watched last night, you said instead of saying Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, how about we just care about each other?
Absolutely.
Act like they matter. And this is it.
This is exactly that. This is how we show everyone that.
From CVS to Planet Fitness, it's all painted, it's done. Look at it. It's already at the end.
Versus what that looked like when we got here.
Right.
It was a mess.
The last paint down there was Planet Fitness. You can see the white on the wall.
We probably have to go get more paint. I love it, man. So, what's up, brother? Oh, thank you.
Thank you for everything you do.
Appreciate you so much, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming out and helping out, man. This has been a beautiful day. It's healing for me even, and I'm sure for a lot of the people that are actually cleaning, it should be healing for a lot of people, you know?
Those are the biggest needs. I've been working at this area for a while. Contractor bags, gloves.
This guy's got to pick up trash with his truck.
Awesome. Okay, cool. You guys are picking up trash?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go grab more bags.
Right here, this has a big load right here.
I can pull off right up here.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Load it up.
More, about 10 more feet, and good. Pull down that gate.
Got some untied, so we'll tie them up.
Yeah, anyone can untie, just tie them up.
Be careful with the white ones, guys. They like to
Some have glass in them.
Damn, somebody.
To say too, you know, for the couple of people who were upset that we covered up some of the tagging and the graffiti that was out here, not all of that was positive. And it's like, if there's a positive message to get out there that creates change, we understand that. So creating a canvas on these walls with primer, it allows the opportunity for a mural to be put up. Something that's positive for the community, something that helps rebuild the community, rather than just the language up there that said F white people and F the police, and like a lot of, if you want to put up Black Lives Matter, cool, you know, we'll leave those sort of things. We even left some of it right there, but there's certain messaging that's all mixed in where it changes the entire purpose of the protest. It changes the reason why people are organizing when you're mixing in death to certain groups in there. We just don't want to see that. And so change can come from still being able to use this as a canvas. So now we've created primer so that people can paint and put some positive messaging up there. So we hope that that's what it's going to turn into. What's up, brother? Thank you for being out here. Free hugs, guy? Yes. Thank you, man.
I need your contact.
Thank you.
I work with Jerry's, who owns this cup.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
need your contact.
You got it, man.
I seriously, when I saw it, I almost started crying.
So this is a positive thing, because when he asked for you, I was like,
Oh, are you kidding me, man?
Yeah, it's my brother.
You are amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your
Ken, yeah. People
I'm
call me the
tired.
Free Hugs guy. It's
Free
all
Hugs
good,
guy.
man. Yeah,
All right,
it's all good.
awesome. I got to get your contact.
Cool. Here, I might even have a card. I do. That's me. My cell is there. My email is there. But yeah, we posted up on social media that we've got to clean this up. This is how community heals from this stuff. Yeah, you know, it's necessary. And so when people just look around, how many people answered the call to come out and just start fixing the mess that's out here. And, you know, there's probably a number of different organizations that came together, but for the people who reached out to my Facebook page from across the country, some even in other parts of the world that said, I can't be there, but I'm going to donate. What's the cost on paint? What's the cost on gloves? And we just started purchasing it all up to bring over here. And people have to live here now. You know, all the destruction here, some of these buildings are probably going to get bulldozed down. And what people don't realize is if this is your community, what comes next is gentrification. So you're not going to be able to live here soon enough after they bulldoze everything down and put up more expensive things and property taxes go up. I wish people would understand that. So I try my best to get through to members of the community. Stop destroying your own. Knew that this doesn't make sense. We can't destroy our own stuff. That's not the way, you know? So, thank you, man.
I got 2 points.
Yes.
If I may.
Yes.
And I'll let you go. Jerry's owns this. I work for Jerry's. We're going to commit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're going to get this thing back up.
Oh, awesome.
If they can build a 35W bridge in 4 months, we can put a grocery store together.
Awesome.
Are you married?
I am. Yeah.
My daughter needs a good man.
My man. That's a huge compliment, man. It's a huge compliment. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thanks.
That's crazy.
Awesome.
Can you get my text?
No.
You hear about that meeting tonight at 7? Saint something church. I texted the location to you. There's a community meeting to plan protecting remaining properties.
Okay, cool.
So we should really do that.
I think we should go to that. This is the sort of messaging that I was talking about. Our turn comes. We'll make no excuses for the terror. All of that incites hate. It incites retaliation. Right? Burn it down. F police. Pigs, right? Every single cop is guilty. No, not every single cop is guilty when you've got so many cops that are actually speaking out against it. So for the people saying, leave the messaging up, it's art. Where do you find art in any of this, right? So that's why I'm telling people, paint over it. Put the primer there, let that come down. If people want to put up murals up to honor the deceased, then do that. But this doesn't honor anybody. Painting people with one broad stroke saying every single person is guilty, and yet people are stepping up saying it's art, leave it alone. I don't know of anyone that can claim this is art or that this honors someone who lost their life. No way. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. It's like the only thing up here that honors the dead out of everything that you've seen on this entire wall is this right here. Right. So just about everything else has a negative connotation to it. It's like, cover it up. I don't even understand why that's a debate. That's what should be happening here. Is members of the community, whether black, white, Latino, all different backgrounds, coming together, activists, community organizers, people coming together, saying, paint it up.
It's a free hug shirt.
Paint it up.
Oh, yes, sorry.
You know?
And
that's
from LA. So, and that's why this kind of stuff is good for us. And all the money we spent on paint and garbage bags and rakes.
There needed to be a whole movement that came with that, and today was that movement, right? We did the right thing. It was worth the flight. It was worth the time coming out here. Worth risking COVID. People have to live here. They have to eat. People are still they need these groceries. You know what I mean? Especially when people just came off of being quarantined and not having access to food. Why would you burn down the grocery stores when they can finally come back and finally shop? People need this stuff, even after the sprinklers have been all over it, even after the fire smoke. You need, here, I'll get there. No. If you want to hold my things, cool. Is it going to your car, miss? Yes. All right, cool. No problem. But people have to eat. You know what I mean? People why would you do that? Why would you burn down what they need?
What is? You got it? Yeah. I thought that was a sack of potatoes.
It is a sack of potatoes.
Oh! It'd be easier to put over the shoulder, but it's open.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, you know what's a beautiful thing though, Ken? Everyone felt the same way we did, and that's why everyone's here.
Yeah, totally. And for the people that couldn't be here, that donated. By the way, thank you all. Thank you everyone that contributed to that GoFundMe. You see how the funds are being used. We've spent thousands of dollars on paint primer and supplies and bags and everything that it took to try and clean up this community, and that's what it takes, is people coming together. So know that your donations, thanks brother, here, I'll put it in for you. Know that your donations were properly used. You look around here, there's so much destruction here.
Thank you.
No problem. You guys have a good day. Yep.
Thank you, son.
We put it to good use. I don't like seeing negative messaging. I don't like seeing hate speech. And so I appreciate my brother hitting me up like late the night before we were supposed to fly. They're like, Ken, what are we gonna do? I'm like, I know what we're gonna do. And we're gonna get it done. And this is it. This is what community looks like, man. Look at how diverse all of this is. I love this. This is how you respond to it. That's how you honor the deceased when an injustice has taken place. You come back together as a community and you bond and you rebuild together. This is awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, there's plenty of potatoes.
Okay. Do you work here, brother? Do you work here?
I'm just one of the organizers helping get all the frozen meat and stuff out.
Dude, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Much honor, much respect to you.
No problem.
I know that, like, when we came out here, like, people have been getting upset at us for cleaning up and painting some of the mess.
Sure.
So to see somebody, you're local, right?
Born and raised, South
Born and
Minneapolis.
raised. See, so I mean, I love seeing how people from the community, especially people of color, to step in and realize that the community still needs this.
Absolutely. We have an obligation to this community. You know what I'm saying? So everything I do, I give back. I'm a music minister at our church. Yeah. I'm a 7th grade math teacher at a local school. Yeah. This is all I do. Yeah. And what's bogus is 2 days before this happened, I spent $150 in here.
In this same grocery store.
Right there.
And it's like, now where do you go, right?
Now I'm bringing out hundreds of dollars of meat to give away to the people because it's going to go bad.
Absolutely.
It's still frozen. We don't want it to go bad. We want to be a blessing and be helpful. Yeah. This is a blessing to see people doing that. Yeah. This brought our races together. Absolutely. As much as our administration and the country tried to separate us, it just brought us together closer.
You're giving me goosebumps.
To God be the glory, man.
Oh,